Julia Child was really my idol, and was from the time I was a little girl. She was sort of the example that I could be a professional cook, that a woman could do that.
I call her caterer to the stars. She's done the Academy Awards, the Governor's Ball, Queen Elizabeth, American presidents.
What's the most people you've ever cooked for?
4,000?
Whoa! I've catered for everyone, basically, that you've heard of. Everybody that's been on the cover of People magazine at some point or another, I've made a party for them. I really took all of the things that I learned in my years of experience of doing sort of big events and glamorous events and translated it into information that would allow you or any of the viewers at home to put on a party for 8 people themselves that was easy to do and elegant and looked like it had been done by a caterer.
What is different preparing a meal for royalty?
There are very specific requirements. For instance, members of the royal family will not eat a meal in public that requires them to use more than one utensil.
You mean period or at a time?
At a time.
Oh, okay.
At a time. But if you think about it, that
Well, I thought, what, you had to eat the whole meal?
You can't use a fork and a knife to cut anything up?
No. There are some foods that they ask you not to serve, like peas, that are considerably hard to manage, that might run around on the plate. Obviously, hundreds of years of thought has gone into making sure that these people always look decorous and well put together and that they eat tidily.
If you want to do a pasta dish for a large group, cook the pasta. I presume you're talking fettuccine or spaghetti.
Or penne.
Penne. Cook the pasta. Toss it with olive oil, a minimal amount of olive oil, but enough to coat all of the individual noodles. You can season it a little bit at that point if you want to. Then when you go to serve the dish, heat the sauce, heat the oiled or buttered noodles in the oven, wrapped, and combine them to serve.
That's wonderful.
But if you combine it ahead of time, it just absorbs it.
Just like you just said.
Yeah, it'll just keep absorbing it endlessly.
Good call.
Thank you very much.
Get the best calls.
Normally for an hors d'oeuvre, you would want to use there's a skewer that comes that's about, 5 or 6 inches long. And you want to make the food, whatever it is you put on the skewer, really just a bite, so that as somebody picks up the hors d'oeuvre, they can pop it in their mouth and they're not sort of wrestling around with 5 bites of something on there.
It's not very, when you're trying to find a date or something, it's not
right, or
graceful way
balance your cocktail in your purse and your napkin and shake hands.
Keep your lipstick on.
Yeah.
That's another great thing to remember with skewers and grilling, is if you get all of the meat the same size, it's going to be much easier to manage because it'll all go on together and come off at the same time.
You don't have to, like, monitor it.
I frequently put out an array of different ingredients for guests to assemble their own skewers, something fun to do.
Yes.
And also, if you've got a group where people have different diets, if you have some vegetarians and some meat eaters, people can you can make vegetarian skewers, meat skewers, cook them at the same time. It's no extra effort for you.
I think that's great.
And you're catering to your guests. And a little mint.
You know, and it really does look Mediterranean, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's wonderful.
This really pulls it together. Anytime you can put a simple garnish around the edge of the plate, it really puts it together. It's the frame around the picture. If you do timelines and a party plan and lay out what you're going to do in what order, and, by Tuesday I'll have finished this, and by Wednesday I'll have finished that.
Right.
But, in theory, by the time you get to the party, everything, your mise is en place.
Yeah.
Everything has been put in place, and you can step into the party, in essence, like a guest and enjoy it. It's very important to have things on angles and heights.
Okay.
So we've got 2 different risers here. There's a box under here. We draped a cloth over it. We've got this nice pizza peel here. You can use anything as long as you've draped linens over it. Get some various visual, interest on the table. Food laid flat looks boring.
American presidents, and I've done a lot of events for presidents in different situations. They're pretty easygoing about what they'll eat or what you can serve or what's going on at the party, but the security is extraordinary. Typically for a VIP client, I would go into the kitchen, even if it was 1,000 people for the party. I personally would go in and get that meal. I mean, let's be real. I wanted to make sure if there was a problem plate, it was not going to that person.
Right.
And I went in the first time I was serving a president and, went to the line and went to select what I thought was a perfect plate. And there was a whole army of Secret Servicemen there going, "What are you doing?" And I told them, they said, "Oh, no. They selected 10 or 12 plates, which they then took out to the dining room, and then at random, one of them selected one of those 10 or 12 plates, which they had already pre-selected, and they walked all the way over the table to hand that to me to serve him. Entertaining can be fun. I did a lot of research in the course of writing the book, and it turned out that my hunch that people worried an awful lot about entertaining was even more true than I realized it was. In order to throw a great party and be a sophisticated host and do a good job, you don't have to have made every single bite of food yourself.
Right.
It's perfectly fine to buy stuff and add to what you do. Check out the nice stores in your neighborhood, the great bakery, the great charcuterie. Figure out what they make that you love, that really works with your taste and your friends and the kind of food you like to make, and use them as like part of your team.
Right.
A full bar is a much less expensive way to serve liquor at a party than serving just wine. I don't think most people realize that. I think that they frequently serve just wine or wine and beer because they think it's more cost effective. And actually serving a full bar of mixed drinks is much less expensive.
Let's take a quick call from Candy. Hey, Candy.
Hi, Candy.
Hi, Nicole. This is Candy from San Diego, and I'm a professional personal chef, but this time of year, we're often asked to do parties and events for our clients. And I just wanted to thank you for this wonderful book. The food quality chart and the references, that you did a great job, and we all really appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's a question I can answer.
Nicole, this was wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Laura.